Secondarily, can you give us some insight into Iran's presence in Venezuela, what they were doing there, and how this affects the Persian Street? Because that's the next big story that we were watching this weekend.
Well, okay, so the Iranian presence, as what I've heard, and I have not confirmed this, but I think we're going to probably see a lot of things coming, well, see a lot of shoes dropping, is that there was a fairly substantial, almost Hezbollah base, on a kind of island in the Caribbean right near that belongs to Venezuela, and
Yeah.
that there were, I guess there were short range and medium range missiles that may have been able to attack Panama. There has been just the ability to give potential terrorists new passports, the kind of cooperation between Venezuela. By the way, this is an old story in some ways. I remember writing about this in the late 2000s. That's a major thing. But then the big picture here is, China had lured, the Chavez and then the Maduro regimes into a kind of debt trap where they were kind of effectively kind of owned a lot of the Venezuelan oil infrastructure. Russia did it on a smaller scale because they don't have as much money. Um, so in some ways, when I hear people under the banner of anti-imperialism decry this, I sort of think, well, were you aware of how much this so-called anti-imperialist, uh, dictator in Maduro had sold off so much of his country's wealth to these other great powers that were hostile to America? So, in that respect, I think we're going to see a lot of things there. Now, there is another thing. There's going to be some diplomacy with the Chinese. They're not going to get a return on their investment, but they're tens of billions, maybe hundreds of billions of dollars that the Venezuelans owe China. And how is that going to be structured? Are they just going to be out of, pocket? So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eli, very grateful to you for joining. I
Thank
know
you.
you're super busy, so thank you for
All right.
making time. We appreciate it. We'll see you again soon.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and Two-Way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.